Welcome to CoinBook. My name is Calvin Waite, and I'm a professional crypto trader. I really like getting feedback from you guys about the market, what you're trading, successes, failures. So I'm going to go ahead and start giving out a t-shirt every week now. What I'll do is I'll look at all comments from Thursday to Thursday, and then Friday select a random winner. Wow, look at that coiled spring. This is exactly what an ascending triangle looks like. We have our initial push, we have a higher low, back to the same level, higher low, back to the same level, and here we are. The candles are getting smaller and smaller as we go, but we're still hitting the same resistance. And when you hit resistance this many times with ascending support, we are about to break out. This is looking beautiful. At the very worst case scenario, we are likely to hit 17,500 in the next couple of days. I'd say less than 72 hours we'll probably hit 17,500. So I'm still cautious about a correction, but as you can see, we have this unbroken bottom line, and so we don't do anything till this breaks. So we are watching this closely. We're in the green zone. Our 50s starting to increase in its angle. So at some point we're gonna have a connection between these two. We'll see if we find it as support or if we break through it. But yeah, this looks really good. Next few days should be pretty green. Altcoin market cap is still having a tug of war. We've had this low, we've pulled up, so we're kind of doing a very interesting pattern here. We are still at 10 million. Like, even though we've started the day and had these giant moves, we have ended here, 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 and here. So we've actually ended the day in a very, very tight range. So it's interesting that we are creating this symmetrical triangle right here. So at some point, altcoin markets are going to make a decision, and we only have another day or two, really, before we decide which side we're going to break out of. So this is going to be interesting to watch. So keep your eye on that. With Bitcoin likely to break out, we might have a little trouble on the bottom, but time will tell. We'll just have to see what Bitcoin dominance decides to do. Sometimes there are things that are so cringy, you just have to share it. In honor of the U.S. Veterans Day, this guy is our our Veterans Day model here. Oh, so cringe. Anyway, this is what we're all going to be doing. Not just the U.S., but the entire world when Bitcoin pops. And it's coming hard. Okay, so what's interesting is that because Bitcoin dominance has dropped and our alt market has kind of stabilized, there are a handful of coins that look just like this. So I'm looking at Golem today, and you can see how we had kind of an exciting move here, and then this kind of bullish engulfing sort of set us up for this nice run. Well, I am a little bit more of a patient trader. I don't get in super early on a lot of these. And what I've been looking for is some kind of a pullback where we can establish sort of a swing low right here. And so there are a couple of coins that I'm waiting to get into that I've also been waiting for this pullback. So with Bitcoin on the brink of explosion, sometimes that shocks the alt markets back down. And so if we can get a little bit of a pullback on some of these, the entrance will be really nice. So GNT is an example. WaxP is another. So it had this awesome little run. Like if you look at this from 200 to 240, it's already gained 20%. So there's some pretty decent percentages to be made as time goes on. But if we get a little bit of a pullback so we can get a nice higher low established, then a lot of these are going to be ripe for entry. So these are a couple of things that I am looking for in the charts today.
Let me just talk a little bit more about inflation. So the fact that Bitcoin has a certain limit does not mean that Bitcoin doesn't have inflation right now, because Bitcoin has 6.25 Bitcoin that show up somewhere in the world every 10 minutes. But because of the amount of Bitcoin that exists, right now we're at 18.5 million. So we have 18.5 million Bitcoin in existence, in circulation right now, and there will only be 21 million ever. So we got 2.5 million, 3.5 million, no, 2.5 million, sorry, to go, and that's it. And so it really is, I mean, we're at the tail end of this thing, and that 6.25 Bitcoin per 10 minutes equates out to be about 1.9, 1.84, somewhere in there, annual inflation. So inflation, let me just run a scenario in your mind, just kind of an example. Let's pretend that we all live on an island, and each of us have certain jobs. You know, we've got our goats, and we've got our farms, and we've got our things that we're doing. But let's pretend that the entire currency supply on that island is $100, okay? So we have $100 units that we're all using to share, and we are going to essentially run our products, all of our sales and our buying and selling. We're all going to run this through our current money supply of $100. So if I need a cow, I'm going to probably spend around $3 for that. Pretty pricey cow, but you know, we'll go with that. Let's say that there's a central authority that decides, you know what, we want some infrastructure. We want to create a hospital. We want to improve the quality of life on our island. And because we control money supply, we are going to double the amount of currency out there. We're going to, everyone out there already has $100. We're going to print 100 of our own dollars. Okay, so now that the situation has been set, let me ask you, what is going to happen to the prices? We have a situation where our oversupply is going to alter that economy, and it'll take more of that supply to meet the demands on the other side. So let's just go for double. We've doubled the supply. Our cow should probably cost around $6. So that concept of introducing more money supply to the economy is going to have ramifications. But my question is, so prices did go up. Where does the value, how did the value flow? So everyone had $100 each. everyone had this $100 in the economy, and the government, by printing that $100, what happened to the people that were holding the $100 in the economy in the first place? It dropped by roughly half, right? So did that government steal anything from its population? It didn't go out and steal dollars from them. It didn't tax them away. But what they did do is they stole value from the buying power of that currency. So there's a concept in the world called, so let me just back up a teeny bit. Back when I was in school and I was taking economics and I was learning about some of these concepts, I realized that, well, I'd kind of heard that George Bush was essentially increasing our government debt by a lot. It was only till I was older that I realized how much. But he had essentially created some expensive programs and had printed a lot of government bonds and created a lot of debt to raise that money. And in my mind, I was kind of taught as a kid and kind of growing up that if we keep doing this, it's going to blow up in our faces at some point, right? And I've heard this all throughout my life, that if the government keeps printing money, things are going to come to a head at some point. Well, now, 20, 25 years later, nothing's blown up. And the funny thing is now I've heard of this new concept called modern money theory. And what modern money theory is it is the concept that governments will never not have the ability to buy what they want because they can print endless amounts of money. Well, that sounds really great on paper in my mind, because they say, you know what, we can afford to buy armies, we can afford to buy infrastructure, we can afford to buy anything that our populace needs because we have a printing press. We can print as much money as we want, but that value does not come without a cost. The cost of that money printing comes from the people that hold the money supply on the other side. It's the people that hold the dollars that are being devalued. That island scenario, those people that had the $100, that $100 is now worth 50% of the economy. They've lost 50% of their value, and it's not because somebody stole it from them directly. It's because the government or this greater body has reduced the buying power of their existing money. So having something that is limited gives the world an option that if you want to go short on governments and long on your savings account, that maybe we should sell something that's inflating for something that is stable. And that is another concept that Bitcoin has kind of given the world. And we've seen this in hedge funds and other things where people are starting to realize that if we go back to our island scenario, I have a cow. The amount of cows on this island are fairly stable. Let's just go with my scenario here. A while ago, I could sell my cow for $3. Today, I can sell my cow for $6. So what didn't happen is my asset did not change value, because my cow represents a stable percentage of all the cows on this island. So if the government prints more, then my cow is, I don't care if I have an asset that's stable or fixed, because it will just go up in value versus whatever's being inflated. So this is sort of the economic view into the concept of Bitcoin. Okay, it is time to separate the CoinBook trolls from the CoinBook fans. So these are the magnificent t-shirts that we are giving away every Friday. These are individually packaged with love from your best friends, China. There's also this incredible option designed by yours truly. And we'll be giving away probably one or two of these every Friday to just a random comment on any of the videos over the past week. But, and I don't blame you, if you absolutely cannot live without one of these shirts, I am willing to part with them for $15 worth of your favorite crypto. Just reach out to me on social media and we'll get you guys hooked up.